call to order. I have a 5:34. And to acknowledge that on this, actually, I acknowledge my gratitude for people being inside with me at this moment on the beautiful lands of the Upper Cook Inlet Denina people, who have for thousands of years been and continue to be stewards of this land. And it is with gratefulness and respect that we recognize the contributions, innovations, and contemporary perspectives of the Upper Cook Inlet Denina people. And I hope all of you got outside a little bit today to enjoy what might be the last day of summer. Okay, roll call. Deborah, we'll start with you. I hear that you are on the phone, or are you on Teams or on the phone?
I can see you.
Okay,
How about that?
You are. Oh, good. We can see you now. What have you been reading?
And a little bit of outside. A Patty Callahan book. It's I think the Time She Left Behind. It's set in early 1900s, I think. An author disappears, but does she really? So it's interesting.
You recommend?
Yeah, I love Patty Callahan. I guess her last name is Henry also, but she's a good author, I think.
Thank you. Megan said she would not be able to make it today, and I haven't heard from Olivia. Has anybody? Olivia.
I heard my name. I didn't realize what you said.
Thank you.
I just finished Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green. And I somehow missed out on the John Green craze from like 10 years ago, but it's his first book of his that I read and it was really good. So yeah.
Is that fiction or nonfiction?
Nonfiction. It's the whole history of tuberculosis and like the surprisingly wide range of things that it's influenced in.
Oh, yeah, I read that book.
Yeah, good.
Pretty devastating.
Especially an issue here in the Alaska rural communities.
Bethel is mentioned. So.
Bethel, yeah. Jen?
Yeah, I am almost finished with Kevin Wilson's new book, Run for the Hills, which is just a fun, key book. If you've read any of his other stuff, like this one too.
Good. Yeah. Mark?
Oh, I'm reading a book called The Fragile Edge, and it's a kind of murder detective novel about it's got to do with immigration, Hispanic issues, and white supremacy in New York State. So it's kind of, I've been on this kick of detective murders almost for the last year. So it's just one in the evolving pattern.
Sounds fairly relevant as well. Wait.
I'm just finishing up Joe R. Lansdale's book, Sugar on the Bone. It's a Hatton Leonard mystery.
Rachel, is she with us yet?
I am on the phone.
Hey, Rachel. Glad to hear from you. What are you reading lately?
Project Hail Mary. My brother got it for me a couple years ago for Christmas, and I think I had just had the twins, so I had not read it, and then I saw they were coming out with the movie, and of course I have to read the book first, so I'm just getting into it, but Project Hail Mary.
Okay. Medica.
I just started an audiobook called Everything Sad is Untrue by Daniel Nayeri, who is from Iran, and it's written from the perspective of a 12-year-old Iranian boy who comes to the United States as a refugee. It's very funny so far, like the tone is very fun and funny, but also I'm like 10 minutes into the audiobook, so we'll see how it goes.
How much that lasts. And I'm reading Antidote by Karen Russell. Written other books. I've never read her stuff. This one is knocking me out. She's a fabulous writer. It's set in Nebraska during the 30s, during the Dust Bowl era. Hard to describe. One of her main characters is a prairie witch what that means is that she has the ability, I mean, it sounds like fantasy, it is, but anyway, that these women are able to, for a price, somebody could come in and give away memories that they don't want to hold on to anymore. And they're given a kind of return slip. So when they decide they want to, get back to it, they can, they can go back to the bank and get it back. That is such a, not adequate description of this book, but she's a great writer. I recommend her very much. I may read the rest of her stuff. And because it's the Dust Bowl, I feel like my teeth have been gritty for movies. Really good at description. Agenda, you got the agenda and you either here or your email. I don't seem to have one here. Would anybody like to approve it?
I'll approve it.
I'll second.
Who's that? Was that Rachel?
Yeah, I approved it.
Rachel, right? Okay. And the minutes you have received also. You have a chance to look at those. Everybody like them enough to approve them?
A motion to approve that.
So you, Monica?
Yes, it was.
I'll second.
Second by Mark. Minutes are approved. Actually, I should ask for a vote, I suppose. Because you might have to get an A, but I'll approve the minutes.
Anyway,
Okay, now the minutes are approved. So we have several interesting staff presentations.
Yeah.
Want to introduce those?
All right, well, Samantha is here to talk about summer discovery, and Samantha's our youth services coordinator. So she takes care of the whole youth department and all those amazing things, which in the board report, so many of it is youth related. So yes.
True, yeah. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Yes, I'm Samantha Blankard, the Youth Services Coordinator, and we just wrapped up our Summer Discovery program. Summer Discovery at Anchorage Public Library is our name for our summer reading program that we do, and it runs from about mid-May through the last day of July. And it's a super great fun time. We love it. It's the best part of the whole year. And as part of your packet today, you've got a little summary sheet that's showing off some of our nice statistics we've got there. So I just wanted to highlight a couple of things here. So our big kickoff party is called Reading Rendezvous, and that's always the Saturday before school gets out. But this year it was on May 17th. We do Reading Rendezvous out on the Lusac lawn, rain or shine. The only thing that would move us indoors would be snow or volcanic ash, which luckily did not happen this year. And it sounds like it's not going to happen at all. Actually, I think I just saw on the news they
Right.
brought that down to green. So woo, all good there. So we had about 2,000 people on the lawn that day in May, and about 1,100 of them signed up for Summer Discovery day of. It's really our biggest draw for getting people to come and sign up for the program. And then over 9 weeks this summer, we hosted just over 50 programs for the K through 5 grade levels. Summer Discovery is an all ages program, so preschoolers all the way up to great grandparents can participate, but really we aim the program at school age children and even more specifically for elementary school age children. So we're really trying to offer a weekly program at all of our locations. We're able to do a lot more than just your base there. We had a magician come up, Magic by Robbie. He's always extremely popular. We had a local comic book artist do comic book workshops in all of our locations. And the big draw this year were the goats from the Tiny Homestead Farm up in Juliet. They brought in at all 5 of our locations over 1,300 people to come and pet and visit with the goats. It was amazing. We have gotten lots of requests to bring them back next year, and we will try our best to do so. So overall, for those K through 5 programs, we saw about 3,000 children and their caregivers come to the library, which is always great. When they come in, they can see our spaces, they can use our facilities, they can check out materials. So it's more than just coming and doing an event, it's using the whole library, getting everybody involved. We also offered about 100 story times. Our story times are aimed from teeny tiny babies all the way up to pre-K kids. And for our family story times that are on Saturdays, we even see some kids who are in kindergarten and first grade coming to those. So that was really well attended. We had about 2,300 people come to our story times at all 5 locations. They're definitely super popular at LUSAC, but we see great attendance at our Chugiakiko River Library as well. So Summer Discovery and Reading Rendezvous is made entirely possible by our friends of the library. None of the funding for the program comes from the operating budget. All of it is through the Friends donations. They donated $19,000 to us this summer. About $3,000 of that went to support the Reading Rendezvous program. Reading Rendezvous is also partially supported by just general donations from the community. The whole event costs closer to $8,000 to $9,000. So we do get lots of generous donations for Reading Rendezvous. The friends do contribute as well. And then for paying all of our performers, purchasing supplies, purchasing all the prizes, all of that does come from the friends. And that was about $16,000 for that. And every child who completes Summer Discovery, they receive a book of their own that's theirs to keep. We purchased these books from Scholastic, and this year we were able to purchase some really high quality titles, really popular titles, something from a series that kids love. So think like Dog Man, Dragon Masters, things that kids are always asking for. We were able to get those this year. We had a lot of great feedback from families, so we really appreciate hearing that we've chosen the best books. We feel like we're professional book pickers for kids, and it's nice to get that feedback. And then when they finish, they also get to enter our grand prize drawings. So there are grand prizes for adults. There's a grand prize for preschoolers, but then there's a couple options that people can choose from if you are in grades K through 12. So this year we offered a Kindle Paperwhite for kids, some high quality art supplies, and different STEM activities, things that are like the STEM kits that we check out at the youth desk. They were things you could keep for your very own. So as I mentioned, our target demographic is K through 5. About 43% of the folks who signed up for Summer Discovery were from that target demographic, which is really great to see. But the best part is that we actually met our goal. We always hope to see about 40% of those elementary school age kids actually follow through and finish the program. And we did exactly meet that this year. We had 40% return on those logs. But what's even more amazing is that we saw 46% return for the middle school and high school kids. And that was fantastic to see because we tend to lose those kids as they get older and their parents aren't bringing them to the library as often. They've aged out of story time. They're not coming to a lot of our K through 5 programs. So it's really nice to see that they were still staying engaged with us over the summer. The big, point of a summer reading program is to have nice, healthy, safe activities for kids to do during the summer, but to also keep developing and encouraging that love of reading the books and slow the summer learning loss. So seeing all these kids actually going through and following through the program was fantastic. We also offer at the end of summer, if you've completed your summer reading log, but you still want to keep reading, we have our Readers to the Rescue program. Our goal was that the community would read an additional 200,000 minutes this summer. And if we met that goal, the Friends of the Library donated $1,500 worth of school supplies to HUBS, the organization helping us give school supplies. And that was part of the Anchor School District, what was it called? The Back to School Backpack Jam. Well, the community did an amazing job. They actually read over 360 extra community minutes. And not included in the infographic there, our staff also does a staff summer reading program. And those minutes do technically count for Readers to the Rescue, but I didn't need them. But they would have put us over 500,000 this year with minutes. So we are going to be raising that limit next year and give people a real challenge because it seems like this was not enough of a challenge. So hopefully you've had a chance to take a look through that infographic there. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them. If you want any more information, please let me know. We do collect feedback from families. We have a family survey. That's an optional thing as families are turning in those logs. And you'll see on the back of that page some of our comments that we've received from families. So the Summer Discovery Program in its current iteration has existed since about 2017. But Anchorage Public Library has been doing the summer reading program for decades and decades, like way back in the, 60s, 70s, 80s. So it's definitely a thing that we are going to be continuing for as long as we can.
My daughter, got the top reading goal in Shugiaki River Library, and she won a trip, the family on the Kenai Fjords.
Awesome. I know, I was looking through the archives and some of like previous year's prizes were things that I could only dream of offering. There was one year that it was 4 tickets from Delta Airlines to anywhere.
Are you serious?
Delta Airlines would still be so generous. So yeah, we're always on the hunt for whatever kind of grand prizes kids might want. A lot of that in the past did come from big community donations. We haven't seen that in the last, I'd say 5 years or so for various reasons, but we're hoping we can bring some of those things back.
That was a nice trip through the fjords.
Oh, I bet.
Any other questions? I had one. Why did they go? Why were people so excited?
Okay. So we like to have some kind of animal related program just because living in a big city, you don't always get the opportunity to interact with different animals, even though it feels like sometimes there's always moose and bear and lynx walking through. That doesn't always apply. So in previous years, we've had the Alaska Zoo come, we've had the Bird Treatment and Learning Center come, and the tiny goats have been at a couple other places. They've been at like the Renaissance Fair, they've been at the State Fair, and I heard some people could hire them for a birthday party. I just thought, why not? Let's just see if they're available. And they were. And something about tiny fuzzy goats you can pet really just hit with people this year. I don't know. They were very cute. We had 700 people out on the lawn waiting their very patient turn for 2.5 hours to pet these goats. So next year, if the goats come back, we will plan ahead for a very big crowd. We had a feeling we'd get big crowds, but we weren't prepared for 700 right away.
And there were 4 goats.
They had, I think, 6 or 7 goats out there, and they brought their own little pen. So cute.
And the goats weren't neurotic about it.
No, I mean, they, like, as soon as they're weaned, that's what they do, is just go around and get pet by small children. So they were very comfortable. One of them actually fell asleep.
Actually.
Right? We get pet and just hang out.
Thanks.
So you said story time is always really popular at Lusac and should get big quicker. How does it do at Mountain View? Mountain View and Muldoon?
Well, Muldoon has a little bit more success than Mountain View. Our youth services librarian at Muldoon, his name is Red Coffee. He does a couple different options during the week to see what families might be interested in. What's nice about Muldoon is that it's pretty close to the neighborhood and a lot of other shopping areas. And so families are more likely to be hanging out there. The families in Mountain View have some different schedules. And so our librarian there, Kim Cameron, she's been trying a couple of different things to see what times might work for families, what might not. Right now, she's doing a Tuesday evening story time. And so some weeks she'll have a pretty decent crowd, and then some weeks no one comes at all, but she's still trying. But I think that Lusac Library being the largest location and by default serving South and West Anchorage, we're just seeing a lot more families all collecting in one area. And then Eagle River is just becoming that booming bedroom community. So a lot of families with little kids out there.
There's still a Diamond branch, isn't there?
No, so we have the Diamond Mall has the express holds pickup location, but there's no actual physical branch there anymore.
When did that close, do you know?
About 15 years ago.
Shows you how it did that.
Around the same time, the Samson Diamond location is when our Mountain View location reopened. So,
I see.
and they're doing their 15th anniversary next month.
How about Birdwood? How do they do?
Yeah, the Garish Library does really well. She has a midweek story time that she does. There's only it's a smaller community, so she's really, she's developed a good rapport with all the families, and everybody knows Miss Katerina. And there's a local preschool who sometimes walks the whole preschool class over for story time. So it's definitely, it's a cozier, smaller location, but as well.
Well,
I just wonder if there's anything further, well, it sounds like there's a lot of attempts made to make Mountain View or whatever you have to do there. I brought my granddaughter there a few months ago and he was hanging out with some African family. That's just kind of a fun, diverse area. I don't know how to meet that in need, but it's.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that Kim does is she's really active with different other community groups that work in the Mountain View neighborhood. So she works with Raise, the refugee charity, and she does story times with those families. They've come to the library and had like a special event just for them. And yeah, she's trying to meet families where they are and see what needs they can meet. Unfortunately, even though it's a wonderful library staff with great people, the neighborhood does unfortunately have a reputation, whether that's deserved or undeserved, I won't comment, but I think we do see some perceptions from families there. So it's an uphill battle, but we'll keep fighting.
Okay, all right. I hear the challenges.
Is it, or, you know, is Dee over there? I thought I saw Dee.
Oh, it's somebody leaving with their caregiver.
Okay, so.
Yeah, thank you for what you're doing and getting kids engaged in reading is so important.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, Samantha. Anybody else? Great, yeah, I agree.
Right, well, if you think of any other questions, please just let me know. You can reach out with Marjorie or you can find my contact information on the website.
Thanks,
Samantha.
All
right.
Lisa, I see Lisa is here.
Yeah, I was hoping that there would be a computer here that I can borrow. May I? use that?
Yes.
Excellent.
Down.
Excuse me, third. See if I can figure out how to.
If you're talking about electronic resources, it's useful to have one in front of you.
It is, it's very helpful.
True enough.
Let me see if I can figure out how to share the screen so that anybody joining us online can also see. Okay. There is no sound with the presentation, but now I'm paranoid that it won't couldn't hear sound. Never mind. We'll assume that they can still hear me. And screen.
I can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you for confirming. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Okay, so now if I were to,
Oh, what a great screen.
open up. I'm gonna scoot this smaller one over to the side. Okay, and we want to go to the library's website. Okay, if I could get one more confirmation from the people online that you can see that we're on the Anchorage Library website.
I can see and I can hear you.
Excellent,
Yay.
excellent, excellent. Okay. So my name is Lisa Berker. I'm one of the youth services librarians here. And part of the reason that this particular resource is so important for us right now is that ASD, I just found this out, Lisa Sam, who is the supervisor for the school librarians, told me that due to budget cuts, they have lost access to World Book ebook collection, which, since they still have us and can get to that resource through us, is not quite the hit it would be otherwise. So it's tremendously important, especially for all of the research things. So, so from resources to Student Resource Center, come on. There we go. This mouse works ever so slightly different from mine. All right, and in our resources, if you scroll down to the very bottom of this, World Book ebook collection, which is separate from the encyclopedia, which I'm going to assume that most of you are more familiar with in print form, if not the online version. So this is a separate entity. One of the things that makes this valuable for teachers and for projects is that there's a lot of teachers still who demand print resources. But here's the thing. These exist in the print world. And so when you click on one to open it up, We do not have a speedy internet today, do we? Okay, I'm just going to minimize that. Shout if you need something, people online. From here, when you open it up, you can see all of the publication information that the teachers want cited. This is a real book. This is the online version, but it is a real book, which matters a lot to some of the teachers. Also, one of the important things here is you can actually zoom in. So when you have the really itty bitty teeny tiny print, you can actually see then what you've got. The other thing in here too is that you can do your setup for your pages however you want. Make that just a wee bit bigger. Still want my 2 pages in there. Okay. You can make it a single page if you'd like, and then you could zoom even more, or this is fun. I prefer the double page spread, but you can also have the thumbnails running across the bottom so that when you're scrolling kind of to find the right thing, or you look at your table of contents, all of these are links, by the way. From your table of contents, you can click on it and it will go right to the thing. But you can also see the pictures along the bottom and scroll through all of those, which is also fun. And I will say the home button on this site is also really, really useful to keep you from just clicking back continually. Home always brings you to this screen. So there's a lot of things to see in here. Oh, one other thing, read aloud. This is where our sound might have come in handy if it was working, but when you get into the actual book itself, it will not read you the title page. But once you're into the book and you click the little speaker.
A crocodilian is a reptile that has rough, scaly skin and thick, bony.
Okay. Not the most captivating narration. But it is, you can hear the words that are being read, which some of them are specialized vocabulary, so the students may or may not be able to read them, but also the highlighting along the way so that they can see which words are being read is a great tool. And we have actually a lot more of those. Okay, so there's a lot of options in here. And this, wow, this speeds right through, doesn't it? Okay, early readers is one that I want to emphasize just because a lot more of these are read alouds than any of the rest of them, which is obviously very useful for learning to read. Okay, fantasy is not this resource's strong point. Fiction. Again, I would argue that if they're investigating bodies and brains, beasts and bugs, this is non-fiction, but it's presented with a framed story and therefore qualifies as fiction. However, if you're actually looking for fiction, the fun part about this one is the world classics. So I believe most of these are courtesy of Project Gutenberg, if I'm not mistaken, but you can scroll through and there's quite a few of the traditional kids' stories in here, not read alouds, but the books themselves. And for the grown-ups, there are actually world classics in here too. So these ones are, I believe I saw P.G. Wodehouse in here, Ray Bradbury. So again, a lot more variety in this section than there is elsewhere. And the world classics nonfiction, when I was scrolling earlier, I saw, I believe it was a memoir or perhaps even the story of Matthew Henson. It was written by him. So if you are interested in your explorers, there we go. Negro Explorer at the North Pole, Matthew Alexander Henson. But there's a lot of, again, other, if you would like a textbook of astronomy, you might want to check your publication dates on that. But the fun thing about this too is then if you go in and you sign up, which I did, so that I could show you the other fun things about this. And I'm like, right. And then once you go in, you can actually, it took me an embarrassing amount of time to figure out that favorites just means you click the little star over here. So whichever ones you see that you like and you want to save for later, click the little star and they will show up in your favorites shelf. I was actually interested in tomatoes, so I kicked the tomatoes over on the side. But the fun thing is, if you go into recently viewed, I entertained myself with this. Okay, so first of all, there's a couple things you can do while you're inside any of these books that it will actually save for you. One is you can actually write in here. Okay, so this is really important to me, larvae. I can circle that and it will stay in my copy online, my account online. You can also highlight. You can, if you're in the middle of your book, you can go up and bookmark this page and it will come back to that when you start the book again, which is handy. But also the fun thing is you can add, let me see, where did I save that particular thing? I thought it was in the amphibians. You can add sticky notes. There we go. See, and it went right back to my bookmark. You can add a sticky note in here. So if this is the part that you need to remember, you add in your little note, whatever sort of note it is, and save it. Well, once you enter your note, this is a note, and then save. And it will appear there. So whenever I come back to that page, I have that reminder of whatever I thought was that important at the moment in there. But the highlighting, okay. I got a little carried away with the Ladies' Book of Etiquette and Manual of Politeness. It's from the earliest publication date I could find here was 1860. Wow. So I went scrolling through the table of contents on this one because the whole thing just seemed like so much fun. But what I was really interested in, what made me laugh, was the conduct in the street. Just wait. Okay, first your dress. And I highlighted the parts that were important to me. Not that scarlet shawl with a green dress, I beg. And oh, spare my nerves. You are not as insane as to put on a blue bonnet. But also, then it tells you about how to interact with people, what's expected and what's not. I was particularly interested in, you do not have to acknowledge somebody you recognize if they're on the opposite side of the street. In fact, you shouldn't. Who'd have thought? So anyway, if you would like to learn how to be an undisgraceful lady, this is an excellent resource, or at the very least, very entertaining. So that is most of what I had to show you about this. Did anybody have any questions?
Anyone? I had one. You mentioned that the school district until recently had access to this same source. So I guess my question is it would seem then that this site was getting visited more than it had been because now you've got all of the school district's students that otherwise would be successfully doing school district.
Well, I'm hoping that they are also utilizing this online from school. Right now, this is their first year without it, so we don't have statistics to see how it's being used differently now. I assume by the end of the school year, we will have numbers that will indicate. But yeah, I just found that out at a teacher introduction event. So it hasn't been that long that they haven't had it yet.
I just think it's really important information. I'm glad you shared that because giving the floating economy, it's
yes,
and we are able happily, which 2 meetings ago we weren't entirely sure that we'd be able to do what we can do with this. So it's good to keep our eye on that. Because this does seem, I mean, I'm not familiar with this except for what you've just shown, which is really extraordinary. It seems like a very important resource for certain age groups and classes.
Oh, yes. When they have their a lot of kids have a pick an animal thing. And well, I don't think we have a hardcover book in this library dedicated specifically to beagles. Lo and behold, here it is. I'm pretty sure we don't have an individual book on cardinals either, but these are the options that we have available to them for their project things online. So yes, if you know any teachers, if you run into any teachers, any homeschoolers, anybody else who isn't aware of this, this is a fantastic resource and it's available to everybody with a library card.
Anybody else?
Do you know, do the schools, like are children provided devices or anything in the schools to access this stuff? Or do most kids have access like in their homes? Or would they come here to to access electronically, I was thinking.
That is an excellent question. I am unsure of what they provide at school. I know there is talk of devices and Chromebooks, but I don't know how widely those are distributed. I know that they were passed out at the beginning of when everything got locked down for COVID. There was a real effort to distribute devices and the MiFis amongst families so that they could access resources like this along with other things. I don't know how long they were able to maintain that. I do make a point of telling everybody when I point out these resources that we have, those, especially the homeschoolers. This is Wi-Fi is 24/7. You can sit out in our parking lot at 2 a.m. to watch the first all-female spacewalk, as somebody told me that they did. So this is always an option through us. I don't know.
Yeah, I was just curious. Yeah.
I wish I had an answer for you. I can check with Lisa Sam about that. I will report back.
Because this seems like a great resource.
It really is.
Is
It
there
really is.
a Britannia equivalent or is it just World Book?
World Book is the only one that we have. I don't know if Britannia has something like that out in the world elsewhere, but this is what we've got. It's also what we have in print, as well as the World Book Encyclopedia and a lot of their resources. They're kind of the elephant in the room. They're the monster. So they have all of the things. Any other questions? But not, all right, let me stop sharing so that we can go back to normal. And all right.
Thanks so much. Appreciate
Thank you.
it. Yeah.
Good evening.
Thank you. I learned a lot about our databases from these as well.
Every one of these meetings reveals things I didn't know anything about, so that's great. Okay, I think you are on now.
I'm up next. Okay. Well, so most, I think, of the board report actually is all about summer discovery and our programs and everything. So, which, as you heard, we had a great year with completions and programs and reading. And so that's exciting. I think I can highlight some of the different things we're doing, I guess, in our spaces, especially here at LUSAC. So we're moving some furniture around on the 3rd floor, kind of opening up. We have now like 3 service points on that floor. So we had a space audit done before I got here, and so we're kind of taking in some of the recommendations from that. So slowly happening. What else? We moved our graphic novel collection. So the adult graphic novels are now along the wall, like the curved wall on the 3rd floor in the back. If you go back there, it looks really nice. And it helped kind of solve some issues we were having back there. And it looks great. And so hopefully those items will get checked out more. And so that's going on there. Let's see. I went to Girdwood the other day, and yeah, they're making some changes too in their facility, and it's looking really good. You know, opening it up to they're putting in their DVD collection. They're organizing things by genre now because they kind of have a small collection, and so it's more of a browsable one. And so that's what they were hearing, that patrons wanted to browse it as opposed to like they were having, because they don't have that many items, you know. And so anyway, so it seems to be working really well for them. So that's good. Let's see. Just came from our budget. That's where I was before this, was we had our budget meeting. So it's kind of the first step in the budget process, which is we submitted our budget and then we meet with the mayor and kind of go over our requests. And so that just happened a little bit ago today. So we'll find out more later how that works. And the downtown library, I can tell you, we were waiting for the cost estimate. It was delayed, it was delayed, it was delayed. We finally got it. It was higher than expected. Yeah, so it does sound like we will continue to move forward though to the next phase, which would be the design phase. So, and go out to bid. So we can see what happens then, I guess, with the understanding that if we go out to bid and it's way over budget, there's not much we can do about it, but who knows? So we're all hoping and we're gonna move to the next step. So that's where we're at with that. Don't wanna go live yet with excitement because at this point, it's a lot higher. A lot higher. I mean, it was originally estimated at 450 a square foot, and this came in at 900 something. Which is obviously a lot higher. Now, there might be some wiggle room, and we're gonna work with the architect and all that, some things that maybe we don't have to go forward with or have like alternatives where you could bid on this and this and this, and then decide, well, okay, we'll take this, but not this and this, So we're gonna play with it and see. So all I know is that we decided to continue moving forward, even though it was much higher than we expected. So haven't shared that yet with the foundation because that was pretty new information, but they meet next week, so I'll share it with them.
Isn't there a deadline for construction?
There is. So what the grant, and the foundation has the grant. So, or it was through the foundation. It's, we have to have everything spent by the end of 2026.
So
So,
that's why it'd be helpful to break it up potentially, because you could at least get some of the money.
yeah, maybe so. Yeah. They do think it'll be a short project. I was kind of
Oh,
surprised that they have it down for like completion in 2 months, which to me seems really quick. So.
work slower, can the price go?
It doubled the price.
But it seems kind of risky if we have to spend our money by 2026, that if you anticipate it's going to be 2 months and you don't start, and then also we have the weather, although it's inside, so it's not too bad, I guess, but.
So all the, yeah.
So
all
there's
the-
a pot of,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
there's
sorry.
a, oh no, there's a pot of money that was bequeathed. Is that growing so that it can make up for some of that excess?
What I can say is that unfortunately, so there's a trust that's supposed to pay for operating expenses for 12 years. And the budget though for operations is actually over as well. So how much that yeah, and we're working on that right now to see if we can get some help or something. But yeah, it's just very close and over on both operations and construction. Because I thought the same thing. I was like, well, maybe we can pull it from, but there's an agreement for 12 years. And within that agreement, that they will provide, so much money for operations. And so that I believe is the pot of money.
Okay, well, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Is there any way to structure the request for proposal such that you request that the contractor propose on the maximum amount they can construct under the budget limit and then have optional work beyond that? I've
Oh,
had projects like that where I've had contractors, build, we got $2 million, that's what we're gonna do. There are ways to
do it that way, yeah.
Do that, especially if you've got money that has to be spent.
Right. Well, so do you know what the term for that is? Because I can bring it up. I mean, I'm sure they probably know about it, but we're gonna try to be creative, but if I can bring it up.
I don't know if this is the correct term, but there are design build projects that you combine the design with the construction so that it's a,
Oh, I see what you're
but
saying.
that's not exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
That's the first term that comes to mind. that
Okay.
they're-
well, I'll see if I can relay what you said, because I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Say if you've got whatever it is, 2 million or what, I don't remember the actual number, but
what can
we could physically probably build something that maybe not what we want, but
Yeah, I think you, I mean, you basically, in the RFP, say this is the limit.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it's limited to this amount and the design has to fit that. That's the
Right,
request.
yeah. So we're gonna do what we can.
and I did finally figure out what building it is. Now, every time I walk down Fourth, I'm like, that's a cool location. And I know there's
It is a
some
cool location.
homeless people and stuff there,
Yeah.
but it's a cool building, a cool location,
Yeah,
tourist central too.
yeah, it would be great, you know, for us to be there, yeah.
I know we've talked about this before, but not remembering, is most of the renovation required basically safety issues and or things that need to be done so that it can be a public building again?
There
Or is it-
there are several things like that, like the, I'm trying to think, like, let's just say like the heating and cooling or, you know, aspect of it that's gonna die any day now, you know, something like that, like, well, you know, but, yeah, but there is some other, you know, within the floor plan, some work to be done to make it specific to what we want. But there are things that we might be able to chop off, but those don't seem to be like the expensive things, like they talked about the entranceway to the doors, you know, there's certain, they could make it look more appealing and, you know, like like a regular library entrance, but okay, we don't have to, you know, so we could cut that off, but that doesn't cost too much. So, but we're gonna sit down with the architect and go through those, yeah. See what we can get. Yeah. So what else? Yeah. There's a lot going on, yeah. I think most of it is we're working towards, hoping, you know, for the budget and, strategic planning too. I should have that next, meeting, our strategic plan for you, so that'll be good, yeah, I'll present that. Yeah, the policies, so it turned out that the code of conduct policy is still with legal, so I know you all looked at it and made, recommendations and we did talk about some of those, but so I'm kind of glad though. So legal's really looking at things, so it's still there. Same way with our facility and ground use policy. So, which I haven't brought to you, but once we get that back from legal, I will. And we're still working on a security camera policy, and then I'll bring that to you as well. So yeah, this month I thought, I don't really have anything to to bring to you, but next time we'll have a lot, probably. Yeah,
That's how it is, fall, school starts.
that's right.
Things rev up. Any questions, Mike, for Patrick?
No.
Do we have a group of people who want to get out into the evening air? Maybe so.
Yes.
Wade says yes. I don't think we have any persons to be heard except us. Board comments? Any things people would like to bring up at this time that aren't on the agenda? Hearing none. I think I could ask for a vote to adjourn if I can find a clock. At 6:22. All in favor of adjourning the meeting at 6:22? All nays? We are adjourned.
It's quick.
Thank you. Well, you don't get a whole lot of things.